Hey everyone, welcome to Atlas Gaming. I release content every day, and this video is about my top games from January 1st to March 31st of 2021. It includes 20 titles in no particular order, except that I will separate them into three categories: up and coming, free to play, and purchasable. I played 91 games in total, most of which were small releases. Although I really enjoyed some of the bigger titles that I played, this list does not include them because it is about the little guys that may have slipped under the radar. I made a similar video for the first 3 months of my channel, and fortunately, I was able to be more selective in which games I played for this video, so more of them were good enough to make the cut. I am more excited about the upcoming games here than I was about the live games that I played, so I'm going to start with those. Again, these are in no particular order, but it seems like it was just alphabetical. Anvil is a top-down action roguelike with online co-op where you travel from planet to planet killing the things that live there. You can explore, get upgrades and gear, but the clock is ticking because the longer you take, the harder it gets. There are different classes with distinctly unique playstyles, and I like how the maps were laid out. The release date is the 1st of September of 2021. Deflector is also a top-down roguelike, but the main mechanic here is that you deflect the incoming projectiles. There are keys on the map to collect that unlock doors, there are legitimate boss fights, heavy metal, great artwork, and lots of side quests and points of interest. The release date is unknown. Eminus is a very difficult, tactical, first-person shooter that will make pros of the genre feel inadequate and insecure. The weapon handling and stealth are the two most difficult things for me because they are not watered down like most other tactical FPS games. The release date is still pretty far out, so it's hard to tell how much more will be added to the game before then, but I think this is a good game right now and can only get better. The release date, by the way, is the 7th of January 2022. Figment 2 Creed Valley is an isometric adventure game set in a dreamland where you solve puzzles and fight bosses. I don't normally play these types of games, but this one stood out to me so much because it's an amazing collaboration of different artistic media that pulls everything together so well and executes flawlessly. The release date for this one is early 2021, which is right now at the time of recording. It should be released soon, but I couldn't find any updates on it. Lazr is a really cool 2D cyberpunk platformer with pixelated graphics, vibrant visuals, and a very open world relative to other games in the genre. There are contract missions to go kill gangsters and bad guys, some secret levels, and a solid campaign with a story about sticking it to the corrupt corporations and stealing their technology. The release date is spring of 2021, which, again, is right now. This one should be coming out soon. Parish is a gory action roguelite with online co-op, which is the big draw for me. Where you're in purgatory, you complete objectives and kill monsters to sell their souls to priests in order to get the upgrades. I like the combat mechanics, the variety of monsters, and the fast-paced combat. Unfortunately, we don't have a solid release date yet. The Last Stand Aftermath is next, and the best way I can sum this up is as a roguelike version of State of Decay. You play as an expendable person in the community who has a sickness that turns people into zombies, and you go out into the world to collect resources to help the community and the future expendable player characters. There are different classes, lots of containers to search, and a great mechanic built around the progression of your sickness. The release date is unknown, but I'm a big fan of State of Decay 2, and I'm looking forward to this one for sure. That's it for my official list of up-and-coming games, but there was one game that was not entirely deserving of a spot in this list, but I wanted to include it anyway because there was only one thing that ruined it for me, and I hope it will be fixed. This game is called Hidden Deep. I loved it so much right from the start, and the thing that ruined it for me was a mechanic that required the player to micromanage multiple characters in time-sensitive situations. AKA, you gotta micromanage the heck out of it and you die. It's a 2D side-scrolling atmospheric game set deep under Mariana's Trench, and it has a lot of cool things, but again, they were all ruined for me by that one thing. It has time to get fixed because the release date is sometime this year. That concludes the part of the list about up-and-coming games. Now let's move on to the ones that you can actually get your hands on right now. We'll start with the free-to-play games, and the first one is EQI. It's a great 3D puzzle platformer where the mechanic is just the player being able to rotate the world around at a single axis in order to manipulate it to solve the puzzles, also to get what you want. The easiest way for me to sum this one up is that it's what I think MC Escher would have created if he were a computer programmer and he were on LSD. Puzzle Box Palace is another 3D puzzle game that I found very enjoyable, mainly because of the level design and the textures. The puzzles were good, but I think that overall they were pretty easy, and I think a lot of people would agree with that statement on Steam. I did have some trouble with one or two of them, but I'm going to chalk that up to fatigue because that was my second playthrough in a row of a puzzle game. SuchArt Creative Space it's just a prologue to the full version of the game, but it's exactly what it sounds like. You're an artist in a nearly limitless studio on a space station, and you can do whatever you want. I hope that's exactly what it sounded like. Including fulfill contracts to make some cash, paint huge murals or small portraits, shoot a paintball gun at the walls, and store your works of art in a gallery. I came for the paintball gun and stayed for the freedom. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Warplanes WW2 Dogfight is also exactly what it sounds like, except you also shoot or bomb ground and naval targets, plus there is some base management involved in resource collection. It's mostly dogfights, though. This is a home net game, so it's free and enjoyable, but the combat can be a little boring at times because of the auto-aim feature, and there came a point at which, for me, it was just entirely too easy, but I think it's still worth a look. I got a good amount of playtime out of it, and it's free. That's it for the free-to-play games. Let's move on to the ones you pay for, and I will include both regular and sale prices. Fortification Tower Defense is one that I played recently, and it was a small reminder to never judge a book by its cover. It's tower defense set in a Minecraft-like world where you can terraform the terrain to suit your needs. The main mechanic is unique to me, and it's that you have the option to end the round every 10 minutes. If you decide to, you keep the research points that you have. You earn the research points from killing bad guys. If you decide to keep going, then it's possible to get more points and leave at the next 10-minute marker, but it's also possible to fail and lose everything. I would wait a couple months for more development or wait for it to go on sale. The price recently increased to $4 because the developer is making changes and wants to get paid. There is no sale price currently. Ape Out, like Figment 2, is an amazing mixture of different artistic media that all come together to provide more enjoyment than just the gameplay. I'm talking visuals and music, and it all comes together so well. That being said, the gameplay is also rock solid, and I had a blast playing it. You're an ape trying to escape, and you beat up the bad guys with your bare hands on the way out. Each level is a little like a maze, and you basically just sprint through as fast as you can without dying in order to progress to the next level. The normal price for this one is $15, and the sale price is normally $7.50, but it varies a little bit. Nova Drift took me by surprise with how much I enjoyed it. It's an action roguelike in space with huge replayability because of the build mechanic that it's focused around. I mean, like the player build. It's basically asteroids for the 21st century. You kill the spaceships that are trying to kill you, they drop upgrades, and you also get to select upgrades from a list every once in a while. You get upgrades that suit the build you are trying to make, and you keep going. The regular price is $15, and the sale price fluctuates between $8.25 and $10.50. We'll call it $9. How's that? Tabs, or Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, is a completely inaccurate battle simulator where you get an allotment of points to spend on troops from an army type, you set those troops up, and you watch them hilariously struggle to fight the other army. I don't remember when I've laughed so much playing a game before. This game just came out of early access and the price went up to $20, which makes it hard to determine the sale price. However, the normal price reduction during sales has been 50%, so my guess is that the new sale price will be $10. Undermine is a classic roguelike game that was another reminder for me never to judge a book by its cover. I think I mentioned that in like every single video of it that I made. You're an expendable gold miner sent deep underground by the Lord of the Land to investigate the goings-on. Along the way, you fight a huge variety of bad guys, you collect relics and gold, fight epic bosses, and you rescue villagers from your home base that will help you later on. Like they set up shops and they give you knowledge and all kinds of stuff. This one is normally $20 and goes on sale for $15. Fights in Tight Spaces. This one caught my attention for how unique it was to me. It's a deck-building game in which your cards control the actions of the player character, and he has to fight his way through levels in a turn-based fashion and make it through to the other side of the map. The things I loved the most about this game were the artwork. It's simplistic but impactful, just like the contrast in colors. It's red and white and black, with some other colors splashed in there. And the in-depth strategy that had me thinking 3 turns ahead. It reminded me of chess. This one is in early access for $25, and the sale price is unknown because I don't think it has been on sale yet. Rustler, as in Horse Rustler, is Grand Theft Auto 2 set in the medieval ages, which is basically how it's marketed. It's got attitude to spare, and so do the characters in the world. There are awesome pop culture references, Monty Python, really good. Anyway, it's an open world sandbox, and it has beatboxing minstrels. Yes, it's that type of game. However, I just want to caution, it's in early access and the reviews are teetering on the edge of mixed. I play tested what was basically a demo at the time and enjoyed it, but never got to play the whole version of the game. I liked it, but you may not, and it has a price tag of $25 without a sale price yet. Last, but certainly not least, is Superhot Mind Control Delete. This is another one that could have made the list solely based on its uniqueness, but it also has rock-solid gameplay, an interesting, mysterious story, and a super cool mechanic where you're basically in bullet time all the time. Who remembers Max Payne? This one is normally $25 and goes on sale for $10. Well, that's it for my top games of the second 3 months since the inception of Atlas Gaming. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.